As the heavens closed in dark clouds and thunder cut the silence of the world, a multitude of creatures marched to the gigantic wooden ark built by Noah. Males and females to peers obeyed the call of God. But between firm steps and innocent looks, something moved in the shadows. A lonely creature with flaming eyes and threatening presence dared to approach the entrance. A shiver ran even the brave animals. God had said, not, rejected, forgotten, banished from salvation. Today, we will unravel the darkest secret of the flood. What was the only creature forbidden to enter the ark? The world was rotting. The wickedness of men climbed as smoke before God. Screams, blood, and idolatry took the cities. Nothing was pure. Nothing was holy. God looked at the earth and felt way in his heart. Then he chose a man, Noah, fair, righteous, obedient. God gave you a mission to build an ark, gigantic, incomprehensible. Salvation would come in wood and faith. As they mocked him, Noah didn't stop. Each hammer was a response to the voice of God. The animals started to arrive, to the pairs, silent, as if guided by something invisible. Noah's family received them carefully. The lion came with the lioness. The elephant came with the elephant. But a different sound cut the air. A noise that no one could identify. The birds stopped singing, the sheep shred, and even the predators looked nervous. On the horizon, a lonely figure approached. Noah's eyes narrowed. That was not common. It didn't come to peers. I had no peace in my eyes, and the earth itself seemed to reject it with each step. The time of the rain was approaching, and with him, the creature that should never have existed. The creature advanced with slow but firm steps. The mud opened under his feet as if the land of its own refused its touch. His eyes were like embers, burning with something beyond fury. No partner, no pair, no visible purpose, just one intention: enter. No words, no roar. The silence around. It said everything. Chapei, Noah's son, retreated as he saw her. Without ever seeing that being, he felt an ancestral fear. Cam, bravest, approached with caution. But even he felt the spiritual weight of that presence. No place among the pure. Noah consulted God. The answer came as thunder in his spirit: don't let her in. The ark was not shelter for that ancestral monster that used to appear at night. It was an aberration, a mistake prior to men's sin. It did not belong to the plan of salvation. Unknowingly, the animals inside the ark stir. The horses remedied. The tigers growled. The climate changed. Black clouds covered the sky. The first drops of judgment began to fall, but the creature did not hurry. She knew this was the moment of her greatest attempt, the last one, the boldest. The rain thickened. The wind whispered. Lightning ripped the sky as if the firmament itself was being opened. Inside the ark, Noah's sons reinforced the door. The creature similar to an ancestral dragon was now closer. It didn't retreat. His fixed eyes in Noah spoke more than any sound. It was as if to say, I'm also creation. Why am I not accepted? But Noah's heart burned with the certainty of God. That was not just meat. It was a rejected essence, a symbol of the ancient rebellion, a reflection of the evil that preceded man. While the animals remained away, the creature took their first step on the ark ramp. The ground cringes, the sky thundered, and a voice sounded inside Noah's soul. It's not your decision, but mine. Cam tried to say something, but his voice was lost in the gale. The wood of the ark seemed to vibrate, as if it felt the approach of what should not enter. The waters climbed, time was running out, and what was outside refused to be left. The creature raised its head. A stuffy roar echoed not by the ears, but by the soul. The birds stirred inside the ark. The beasts hit the cages. An invisible fear traveled the entire structure. Then his eyes shone with red light. It was not fire. It was something older, a glow that did not belong to the original creation. One of Noah's sons fell to his knees, taken by sudden pain in his chest. The creature took another step. The ramp wood began to darken under its feet. Cam shouted, "Dad, she'll come in!" Noah put himself in front of the door, the staff in hand, your eyes firmly, but within you fear grew. "Lord, give me strength," he whispered. The creature growled, not with fury, but with pain, as if your exclusion were unfair, as if she carried a forgotten story, an unlicked curse. The sky exploded in thunder. An invisible force involved the entrance of the ark, and the creature was released backwards without anyone touching it. Something bigger had intervened. The silence after the impact was deafening. Cam shook, trying to understand what his eyes have just seen. Without looking back, Noah raised his hands to the heavens. "Your will was done, O Lord," he said firmly. Without understanding, without and Jaff, they looked at each other, scared. Inside the ark, the animals be still as they recognized that the danger had retreated. The ancient creature that used to appear at night and terrorizing the animals had fallen between the mud and the thunder, but still breathed. She didn't move with hatred, but with a strange kind of sadness, as if waiting for this rejection since the days it was shaped. Noah felt the weight of God's decision but could not question. That was no longer a simple creature. It was an echo of something prior to the flood himself. The rain fell harder. The waters touched the feet of the ark. It was time to close the door. Noah looked at the creature one last time. One look crossed the other. No anger, nor mercy, just separation. And when the great door was sealed, the creature let out a sound that no human being could ever reproduce. Before the flood, there were murmurs among men, souched stories about beasts that walked among the children of the giants. Creatures that were not created, but corrupted. The creature rejected, similar to a dragon, had not been born among the animals of Eden. She was generated from the union between heaven and the rebellion. An experiment of vigilantes, angels who abandoned their home to lie with human women. From their sins, horrors emerged, hybrids, aberrations, and among them she came up, different, smarter, more cruel, but also more lonely. She walked between destroyed cities feeding on fear, but deep down he wanted to belong. When God announced the flood, even she heard and ran. I knew what would come. He knew it was his last chance, not out of salvation, but by redemption. Noah, even without understanding, began to have visions, dreams, fragments of a past that had not lived. A shadow surrounded the ark, even with the door closed, and inside it the feeling that something forgotten by time still sought to enter. Noah walked through the ark passages with a heavy heart. The rain did not cease. The roar of the waters was constant. But what disturbed him came from within. Something was wrong. He knelt into his room and cried, "Sir, why showed me that? Why did I feel sorry?" The silence of heaven was his answer. Without appeared at the door. His eyes were distressed. "Dad." There was something in that being. It was different. Noah looked away. That was not part of creation, but its tone was uncertain. Cam, more curious than the others, searched the corners of the ark. I felt that something had been forgotten. And then, at night, she appeared in dreams. The creature. She cried, but without tears, and spoke the human language. "I didn't choose to be born like this," he said, "but I was tried for something I never asked." Noah woke up sweating. I didn't know if it was a vision of God or spiritual trap. The faith that was once Rocha now trembled like sand. He looked at the sky and shouted in the heart, "Lord, help me not to doubt you." And the clouds just thundered. The wind howled. Stronger. The waters beat like drums of war against the ark hull. But there was another sound, a whisper, a muffled growl, something no animals did. Without, stood in the middle of the night. Something called him. He walked to the lowest level of the ark. It was dark, silent, but there among the shadows, something moved. Two eyes stared at him, red, sad, but also alive, without not shouted. It was paralyzed. The creature was there, within, as no one knew. When the day dawned, he told his father. Noah sought among the animals, but everyone seemed to be in order, no miss, none more. But then something on the floor caught the eye. Footprints. They were not Hull, not even paw. They were human. Yes, they were human. Noah felt his stomach turn. It's not possible. Cam lurked from afar. I felt that something was being hidden, and outside, the storm gained strength, as if you want to open the ark. The creature, whether it entered, was now close, and no one was ready for what she was really. Cam decided to act on his own. He went down at night with a lamp in his hands. The ground creeps under your feet. The smell was strong, like sulfur and rotting meat. Then he saw, behind the hay curtains, the creature, sitting, curved. She looked at him, did not attack, just spoke. "You left us out there." Cam retreated. "Who are you?" The creature replied, "I was created before you, but I was forgotten." He was shaking. "Are you a demon?" She denied her head. "I am what is left of a rejected creation." Noah, in prayer, had another vision. I saw the skies opening. An ancestral scream echoed between the clouds. A name was whispered by 1,000 languages. Naamárah Noé woke up in tears. I now knew what walked between them. It was the origin of fear. The shape of chaos. But why was she there? How had the Creator's own eyes deceive? Noah sought his children, gathered all, but Cam was gone, and at the bottom of the ark, only the echo of breathing something that should not exist remained. Without confronted the Father. Cam has disappeared, and something goes between us. Noah tried to keep up the faith, but fear eroded his voice. The rain now seemed to scream. Rays broke the skies. The lion roars without stopping. The birds beat wings, trapped in panic. Even reptiles hid. The ark was in imbalance, and in the middle of that, her presence grew. Naamárah whispered in Cam's ears. "You were forgotten." He cried, confused, but seduced. "They always preferred without. You deserve more." The creature touched his forehead. A heat traveled your mind. Images, glory, kingdoms, women, power. Cam smiled for the first time. Noah prayed at the top of the ark. "Sir, if I failed, forgive myself." But God did not respond, just the silence. And in that silence, Naamárah got up. Its form was no longer the same, had become beautiful, human, charming. Cam returned with her. "Dad, she's not what she thinks." Without shouted, "This creature was forbidden by God." Noah fell to his knees. She was wrong to the heavens, and now it's here. The rain fell like swords. The sky seemed at war with the earth. Noah descended the steps from the ark. Something called him, something restless him. The animals were silent. The eyes of creation were fixed at one point. There she was, Naamárah. Her hair fluttered even without wind. His skin shone like polished gold. "Let me in, Noah," said in a sweet, almost sacred voice. "I don't belong to chaos. I'm free." Noah hesitated. I had never seen such pure beauty. But the eyes of the animals trembled. A lion retreated. A dog used as if he felt hell. "Who are you?" asked Noah. "I'm the daughter of the wind, born ahead of time. I was forgotten by men." She stepped forward. The floor under his feet darkened. "I can't," said Noah. The answer came from above, firm as thunder. "This won't come in." Naamárah smiled. A smile that carried centuries of hatred. "Then we will all die," she whispered. But Noah turned his back. The doors closed, and thunder swallowed her. The ark sealed its doors. Inside, the world cried. On the outside, Naamárah still smiled. The beautiful face hid the spirit he devoured in the darkness. She shouted to the heavens, "I was free, I was the first," but the sky did not answer. Then came the transformation. His eyes shone like embers. His back opened on smoke wings. Claws took the place from their hands. The animals inside raised. In despair, they saw what men could not see. "You are not a woman. You are a curse that turns into a monster at night," Noah murmured in a low voice. Outside, the creature roars like 1,000 thunder. It was the sound of corrupted freedom, of the beauty that seduced to death. The water already covered the valleys. And Naamárah climbed a rock. Looking at the ark, disappeared in the rain. "I will come back. Where there are men, I will be," he said. And then she disappeared. Noah closed his eyes. I knew it wasn't over. The ark trembled under the thunder. The doors were locked. Outside, the waters swallow everything, but at the top of the hill, she was still there. Naamárah raised his arms to the dark sky. The storm seemed to obey it for a moment. His previously soft eyes became flaming abyss. Beauty gave way to horror. Her legs merged into claws. His back broke into bone wings. Teeth came where there were lips before. The animals inside the ark rapped in panic. She came back," shouted Cam, covering her ears. "This is not human," he murmured without shock. The roar that came from Naamárah made the mountains tremble. Her body, now hindered, rose like a revenge dragon. Blue flames sprang from his mouth, but God had said, "She won't come in." And the waters did not spare. The waves wrapped it with fury. Their wings ripped on the impact. The sky exploded in lightning. The creature released a final scream that seemed to cross the times. And then, silence. The monster was swallowed, and the earth was purified by judgment. The waters covered the world. Everything had been silenced, but in the memory of the animals, the terror still hovered. Many were still shaking at night, for they had seen what men did not see. They saw Naamárah in their true form, not just a woman, but a rebellious spirit, a living curse, a monster similar to a dragon, a memory of what happens when freedom becomes a challenge against God. "She was wrong," Yahweh said, watching the water horizon. "But God was not deceived," Noah replied firmly. Naamárah represented the rebellion disguised as beauty, corruption, hidden under the appearance of freedom. She wasn't just a monster. It was the reflection of what the world had become, and so there was no place for her in the ark. She was left outside, to be forgotten by men, but never by the heavens. For to this day, the winds of the night carry the echo of their scream. As a warning, as an old whisper, the beauty that challenges the Creator is always a disguise of chaos. What did you think of this forgotten story of the flood? Have you reflected how many times evil disguises themselves as beauty in our lives? Comment below your impressions and share this message with someone who needs to hear this today. And if you want to know more hidden and impactful Bible stories, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. We see each other in the next video, and remember, there is always more behind what the eyes can see.